Hey guys, Paul from Green Dragon Hydroponics. It's been a while since I uploaded, but I wanted to get back into the habit of creating new content for you now that we have some help at the store and New Year's coming up. Wanted to post a quick video just on basics of setting up a grow tent and the ventilation and environmental controls that can get you started so you're successful in your first grow. So give me a minute and we'll walk through this 2x2 grow tent we have here. I'll explain to you the ventilation and other things that go into just the basics of what you'll need to be successful. All right, so behind us, this is one of our store displays. It's a Hydroponics 2x2 plus, so it gives a footprint of about 30 inches by 30 inches. Not that tall of a tent, so normally I'd pick this for like propagation, or if you just wanted to do one single plant. Mainly this tent is only good for so much single plant, maybe propagation. We have an HLG 225 in here, which does pretty much exactly the 2x2 plus, 30 by 30 inches for a full cycle or blooming plant. Also installed is a AC Infinity 4-inch. That's the T4 series, the one with the thermostat control, and a 4 by 10 inch fat filter. So that's carbon filter, obviously for odor control. We have this inline set up here so that air within the tent, when these doors are closed, air within the tent is going to be drawn through the carbon filter on a single pass and exhausted outside of the tent. This is attached to a thermostat control. It also can be controlled by humidity if you choose. That can all be done through the AC Infinity interface. So with most small tents, what you're looking for is a passive intake, which is the screen. Most have a screen on the back of the tent that when these doors are closed, you'll have a little bit of negative pressure on the tent. It'll draw up through the leaves and through the canopy and then exhaust out, and that'll just kick the fan on and off. It's a very precise computer controlled efficient fan that only turns on when needed. So that is the basics for tent control. I mean, like, basics meaning that's the absolute minimum that you need to have a successful grow. In reality, when you move to a bigger space, maybe you go to a 4x4 tent or a 5x5 or a 4x8 tent for bloom, you want something with better automation. You want either a humidifier or dehumidifier installed, whether you're in a vegetative phase or blooming phase. And then you want to be taking close watch over VPD, which is vapor pressure deficit. That's basically the interaction between temperature and humidity, how the plant transpires food and nutrients and water up through the roots and then out the leaves through the stomata. So if you have, ideal case is that you have set parameters for your VPD, temperature and humidity are totally controlled. That would take something with a little bit more power than just a fan. That's good to have, but this Niwa hub is what we're recommending for any small spaces. Does have VPD control, and basically you can control and program each outlet to do either temperature, humidity. You can attach a dehumidifier, humidifier, AC. You can attach a fan, you can attach pumps, you can attach your lights so that it all works together at the parameters that you set. It also has like weekly programmable, what they call recipes, so that you can decide what humidity and temp your tent is set to during what week. And then when you switch weeks, you can just change over from week to week. So these are the basics that we recommend for small spaces. When you go to larger size, or maybe you're building out a room, that would take something a little bit more advanced. We recommend TrollMaster, which we'll be doing a separate video on, which does modular integration of all your controls, everything from smoke detection, water detection, pumps, timers, pretty much anything that can be controlled in a grow space that the TrollMaster will control. So the only other things about the ventilation specifically when you're setting up your tent, this tent, like I mentioned, is a little bit small, so the main thing is you may have extra headspace if you move this on the outside. And for instance, this is exactly what's going on here, is that we have a really intense light. It's fully dimmed, and this aloe plant is seeing some signs of light stress on the leaves. We've kind of we've kind of struggled through this a little bit just to have this display set up properly. But ideally, if I was looking for best control in this space, I'd move this on the outside. I'd put the pre-filter on the inside of the carbon filter so that it's blowing through the filter rather than sucking through it. And then I'd raise this light up just a couple inches so that it reduces the stress on this light. These are other ideas that you can do to start to refine your environment. And like I said, this AC Infinity is just the basics. So if you bought a tent package from us, most likely it's going to come with that thermostat controlled fan. Maybe if you're in a bigger tent, you want to add an intake fan. Like in a 4x8, I definitely recommend adding an intake fan and an exhaust fan so that the air moves from one side of the tent up through the leaves and then out the other side of the tent. With this, it's very simple. You just have the passive intake and doors closed, single fan. But then from there, you want to start monitoring and keeping track of your mins and maxes, and then seeing, okay, I'm having humidity spikes at night because the light's not on, light's not warming the space, which would kick on the fan. So there would be a humidity spike. That's something that you want to address in your grow space. So keeping track of these parameters is your first start, so you can see what's going on, and you have to be proactive to avoid things like powdery mildew or bud rot or insects, things that are going to weaken your space. So I hope that helps. You know, you can grow things in a space that's not controlled. Actually, in our store, none of these tents actually close. I have an aloe plant that grows here. In this space, we have some cover crop that's growing. It's basically light and the ambient CO2. We actually haven't been closing these doors at night, so you can get things to grow in random spaces. But what's really going to get you the best product in the end is if you start paying attention to your environment. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know what you think in the comments, and like and subscribe, and we will be following up with an update. Thanks, and hope everybody has a happy holidays.